Jake Harlan wasn't the type to stir up trouble. He ran his small trucking business with a kind of grit and precision that kept things moving in diesel humming at dawn, tires crunching gravel, no fuss, no headlines. Divorced for years, with a daughter out in Boston and a loyal mutt named Rusty who growled at every drone that dared cross the sky, Jake lived for the work. He wasn't angry at the world, just fed up with folks who thought a clipboard gave them power over men who actually built things. When he bought a chunk of land at the edge of a private development near Carson, he thought he'd found his slice of quiet. The lot sat at the end of a wide cul-de-sac, backed by a CRVYC road used for years by construction rigs. Perfect for his flatbed truck, with room to maneuver and space for a workshop. The real estate agent's smile was too slick, the contract littered with fine print, but the land felt real under his boots, and that was enough. For 6 months, everything was fine. Jake poured a concrete slab, stored his gear, and got permits to build a shop by fall. His neighbors kept their distance, and he liked it that way. Silence was all he asked for. Then the signs started. Little plastic ones at first, preaching speed limits nobody cared about. Then cones. Then a flimsy notice tacked to a post by the CRVYC road. Maintenance zone. No through traffic. No signature, no city seal, just bad grammar in bold. Jake ignored it. A few days later, someone dumped a pile of decorative rocks across his path. Not heavy, but deliberate. He kicked them aside and made his delivery. No time for games. Things got ugly fast. One Thursday, after a 200-mile haul, Jake pulled up to find orange barriers zip-tied across his driveway and out by the street, but right at his gate. Cinder blocks held them down, a silent stay-out. Rusty barked like he sensed the insult before Jake did. Jake didn't lose it. He shut off the engine, stepped out, and stared at the setup like it was a bad joke. Confusion hit first, then a slow burn of disappointment. He knew this type cowards who hid behind rules they made up, who'd never knock on your door like men. He dragged the barriers aside, stacked them neatly, and parked his truck. Poured himself some iced tea, fed Rusty, tried to let it go. Next day, the barriers were back. Chained now, staked into the gravel. And there, 20 feet away, sat a shiny golf cart with an HOA logo, 3 people inside. A stocky woman in mirrored shades and a pink vest marched over. "This access is closed," she snapped. "Commercial vehicles go to the north gate now. Safety protocol." Jake sized her up not with contempt, but like he was checking if she'd ever lifted a shovel. She hadn't. "Closed by who?" he asked. "The board," she said like that settled it. Jake pointed at the north gate. 5 miles of detour with no legal right-of-way. "You're blocking my only access." No notice, no letter, nothing. She smirked. "Rules change." Jake leaned in, calm but firm. "You just made this my problem." That night, he dug through his purchase papers. The easement, the plat map, the county records all crystal clear. His driveway was his, the road was shared, no restrictions. But it wasn't the legality that kept him up. It was the sneakiness, the way they assumed he'd roll over. By morning, he knew waiting wasn't an option. Complaints wouldn't cut it. Action would. They escalated first. The orange plastic was gone, replaced by steel posts sunk in fresh concrete, linked by reflective chains. "Slappy borkoneven por, no revar, no permits." Done at night, like they were ashamed. Jake called the county, not the local paper pushers, but the land commission. "Someone poured concrete across my drive," he said. The clerk paused. "That's not legal, Mr. Harlan." They promised a re-VYEW. By afternoon, the county confirmed. No permits, no records, no oversight. This wasn't the city. This was a rogue crew, a shadow committee playing God with bylaws. Jake didn't act rashly. He filed reports, installed trail cams, and called an old surveyor friend, Tom Reed, to check his boundaries. Everything was legit, but the committee didn't stop. Yellow notices appeared, accusing him of noncompliance. His vendors got turned away at the gate. Fake fines due law $9,200. No appeal landed in his mailbox. Then a slick arbitration firm, fresh off the printer, demanded he submit to their binding process. Jake ran their name. They'd existed for 3 months, tied to shady property grabs. It clicked. This wasn't about traffic. It was a hustle to choke him out, to steal control, through paper and fear. He'd had enough. One dawn, with Rusty watching, Jake fired up his truck. The engine growled, headlights slicing the gray. He rolled toward the steel barrier, gave it one last look, not hesitation, but resolve. Then he pressed the gas. The truck smashed through, chains snapping, posts buckling. The sound was sharp, final. He loaded the wreckage onto his flatbed and dumped it outside the committee's shed of an office, Leah VYing a copy of his easement papers on their golf cart's windshield. No note, no words, just truth. They hit back hard. Forged documents surfaced, claiming Jake had waived his access rights. Trespassers planted stakes on his lot at night. A compliance coordinator showed up, spewing vague threats. Jake didn't blink. He sent every scrap of EVY Denke to the county's enforcement officer, Sarah Klein, a no-nonsense engineer who saw through the scam. She found the fakes, the unlicensed contractors, the blacklisted firms. The district attorney took notice. Jake went further, leaking the story to a reporter who called it a bomb. Other VY Tim's contractors, a widow, shared their own tales of coercion. This wasn't just Jake's fight anymore. The hearing was brutal. Sarah laid out the timeline. Illegal barriers, forged papers, harassment. The committee's rep, a woman named Carla, fumbled, her excuses crumbling. She pleaded the fifth when cornered about the fakes. Jake spoke once, steady. I don't need to prove I own my land. You almost let them steal it. The board ruled in his favor. The committee's actions were voided. Their scheme referred for criminal re-VYEW. Jake walked out, boots echoing, Rusty waiting in the truck. The road was his again. The patrol vanished, their website scrubbed, their names erased. Jake built 2 stone pillars where the barrier once stood, a steel beam between them etched with right-of-way. Not a taunt, a line in the sand. His business hummed again. Neighbors, once silent, nodded as he passed. Over coffee, he and other owners swapped stories, building a quiet alliance. The lawsuit chugged on, but Jake wasn't chasing vengeance. He'd exposed the rot. That was enough. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Jake sat on his porch, coffee in hand, Rusty at his feet. A hawk circled above, the gravel road still under his boots. The fight had changed something, not the land, but the air. He wasn't safe, not really. Men like him never trusted quiet. But he was ready. If they came again, they'd find a man who'd already drawn his line and knew how to hold it. What do you think? Was Jake right to smash through that barrier? Or did he escalate too far? Should he have trusted the system sooner? Or was his defiance the only way to win? Could this happen where you live? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you're Team Jake, and subscribe for more stories that'll make you question who really owns the road.